Welcome to SmackDown Live review, the 2nd of August episode of SmackDown Live, and at the end of this episode we'll be given the points for the Battle of the Brands, Mr. WWE Cam's Battle of the Brands. You can use the hashtag MWC Battle of the Brands. Yeah, or should we make it an even better hashtag? We'll make it a better hashtag. Hashtag MWC BOTB. I'll put it on the top of the screen so you guys can see it. If you want to see the current score on Twitter and follow that, then you can by using that hashtag. So we're getting on to that at the end of the show. We're going to be talking in chronological order, as always, about SmackDown Live's second episode, live on exclusively, well, not exclusively because I watched it on the UK, on Sky Sports. So that whole point, Cameron, was fucking pointless. So let's just get into it and let's just move on. I want to talk about Raw. I gave it a 7 rating in the review yesterday, which is part of the Battle of the Brands. I've changed that rating. I've brought it down to 6.5. I changed it very, very soon after. As soon as I stopped recording, I was like, that's too high. Miles too high. 6.5 rating is what I've given Raw. So, yeah, that's why I didn't tweet out the rating for Raw yesterday, because it had changed and I wanted to mention it on video before. So, yeah, it is changed. And, yeah, that's basically all it said. My laptop's going wrong, so I'm struggling to get up the results here at the moment so I can see exactly what's gone on and when it's gone on, so we might have to just do that. Right, let's get into it then. SmackDown, August the 2nd, second episode of SmackDown. First episode was a decent one. It got a 7 rating. This one I enjoyed very, very much. I'm gonna love SmackDown, put it there. I'm just putting it out there. SmackDown's gonna be probably my favourite brand. I'm feeling, that's just my honest opinion, but then again, last week I'd have said Raw was definitely going to be my favourite brand. You just don't know. Dean Ambrose's promo then, he started off the show, he came out, said a few words, out came Dolph Ziggler, and we got an that's not the right word, a passionate speech from Dolph Ziggler about how he's always been thought as of nothing. How everyone's doubted him in WWE, how he's 1 minute told that he's going to be something, and the next minute he's not. And it felt real from Dolph Ziggler. And Dean Ambrose said, no, that's not the case, Dolph. I think the case is, you just think you're better than you are. Stern words, heartfelt words, personal words. This storyline, face versus face, on paper, you think, oh, they're all going to be lovey-dovey. Not at all. Ambrose, showing signs of a bit of a heel in this segment. Ziggler, I like the direction they went with. Showing that guy he's had enough. And we've seen it before from Dolph Ziggler, but now he's had enough, and he is saying, like he said to Shane and Daniel Bryan, screw you. You don't believe me? Screw you. I don't care about anybody. Screw everybody. I'm going to go out and I'm going to prove. I like it. It's a different direction. It's a different Dolph Ziggler. And I like the way they took this story. A lot of people questioning, where are they going to take Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler? How's it going to work? This worked. And I liked it. It was a great segment, a great promo, and yeah, really made me buy into Dolph Ziggler. And then the Wyatt family, or Bray Wyatt, came out and hit Ziggler with his sister Abigail and said, Ziggler, prove yourself. Me, you, main event. I win, I go to SummerSlam. You win, you've proved to everyone that you deserve that slot at SummerSlam. Now, usually, before, if this promo wouldn't have taken place, I'd have been like, yeah, you know what, I wouldn't mind Wyatt getting his chance, because I love Bray Wyatt. But after that passionate speech from Ziggler, I'd bought into it, and I said, no, I don't want Bray Wyatt to win. I want Ziggler to go to SummerSlam and get what he deserves, a shot at Dean Ambrose's championship. We'll have to wait and see later on whether he did in fact do that. But a great opening segment. I mean, Bleacher Report on here. I mean, this is where I read, so I keep in chronological order. They didn't, B- is the grade they gave it. They didn't feel like it's taken any direction. They don't know what direction this feud's going. I completely disagree massively with them. I thought this was a great way to start the show. And the unpredictability of SmackDown showing here in that opening segment with Wyatt coming out. We saw it at the end. We saw it in this triple threat match that I'm about to talk about. There's certainly that feeling of in SmackDown that anything can happen. And that traditionally is how Raw is. But Raw seeming a little bit more sort of, I don't know, set in stone. I mean, I suppose anything could happen. Sasha Banks won the Women's Championship. Finn Balor won the... So I suppose, but definitely on SmackDown I felt it. I felt that you just didn't know what was around the corner. When, you know, if you're watching it on catch-up, usually you know when to sort of fast forward, and you can fast forward on your remote because you know the match is over and nothing else is going to happen. You really couldn't do this with SmackDown, otherwise you'd have fast-forwarded through something special or something interesting. We saw a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, for number 1 contendership for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, how the fuck is Miz still the Intercontinental Champion? Won it the day after WrestleMania, and still he holds the title. That is a massive, massive shock. I mean, I know he went away for a few weeks. But even still, I expected it to be a very short reign, but it's turned into quite a long reign for The Miz. Apollo Crews, or Apollo Creed, as Daniel Bryan called him at the start of the show, which I found quite funny. I found it more funny than what it was. Kalisto and Baron Corbin in a triple threat match. And what I love about, I don't know whether this is a brand split or whether it's just the way WWE's booking things, or perhaps I'm not looking at it from... I think this is half the problem with us wrestling fans at the moment, us hardcore wrestling fans, we can call ourselves that, is that we always look at it from far away, and we often, I think we delve into stuff a little bit too deep. You know, and if somebody loses a match, we think, damn, they're buried, they've booked them terribly, when actually, maybe that is not always the case. Maybe just because someone loses a match, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes there are booking decisions where you're like, what the fuck are you doing, WWE? But at the same time, sometimes I think, you know, we look at it a little bit too critically. We think, he's lost. It's a bit like the Wyatt family thing at WrestleMania with The Rock and John Cena. Everyone's like, they've buried the Wyatts. They've destroyed the Wyatts again. Maybe not. You know, Jim Ross said it. They were at a high spot with Cena and Rock. Were they buried? I think maybe we do look at it a little bit too critically at times. And I'm sure there'll be people coming out of this triple threat match saying Kalisto especially, look like nothing in this match. I didn't think that. I can remember thinking Apollo Crews wins, and I'm thinking Baron Corbin's a threat and Kalisto's a threat. That's what I came out of this triple threat match looking like. Apollo Crews won, right man won. I wanted him to win. He's 2 big wins in 2 episodes of SmackDown. Apollo Crews is going to be a big threat on SmackDown, although he was very, very low in the draft pick. He could, if he keeps this run going, be in line for a World Heavyweight Championship slot by the end of the year. You have to say, he is riding a big wave of momentum at the moment. Baron Corbin, as I say, looking good after this match. Very, very fun triple threat match. You know, it wasn't spectacular, but it was a fun match. Didn't get as much time, and the break didn't necessarily come at the right time. But a very good match. The win, going to Apollo Crews. And after the match, we saw Corbin attack Kalisto. Crews then sort of helping Kalisto. And then out came Miz to beat up Apollo Crews, and then Corbin laid him down. Now, is this meaning that we're going to go for a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship? I don't know. That's what a lot of people are saying. I've looked on Twitter. That's what people are saying. Does this mean we're just going to get a tag team match next week? No, because obviously Corbin flattened Miz. Does this mean that we're getting Corbin Kalisto and Miz Crews, and just the fact that Corbin's going to take no prisoners, and basically, not that he wants to go after the Intercontinental Championship, he lost the triple threat match, but that he is taking no prisoners. Anybody gets in his way, he will stamp on your thing. He doesn't want no friends. I think that could be what's happening. I still think we'll get Crews, Miz at SummerSlam, and then we'll possibly get Corbin Kalisto as a little sort of side feud that we'll see on SmackDown for the next few weeks. That is what I personally think will happen. I wouldn't be opposed to a fatal 4-way match, but I don't know whether that was necessarily what WWE was doing, or whether they were just showing Corbin as a big threat and that he's just going to take no prisoners. He doesn't care who he has to step on to get to where he belongs. And Corbin's going to be a big threat on SmackDown. And this core of SmackDown, it might be a bit of a small roster, but you know, you've got Ambrose, Ziggler, Styles, Cena, Wyatt, Corbin, Kalisto, Crews, Miz, Shelton Benjamin, add him into the mix, and there's bound to be somebody else who wasn't really doing anything on the show this week. That's reminding me of when I used to love SmackDown with McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Kane, Mark Henry, Edge, Christian, Randy Orton. I forgot Randy Orton. There's that core there of SmackDown, which makes it a really, really good show. And although, the roster's quite small, and it's not necessarily on paper as good as strong as Raw, it's just got that kind of cult feel about it. I don't know, you just get really passionate about it. Maybe it's just me, but it's reminding me of when I used to love SmackDown. and that's only a good thing. But yeah, Becky Lynch versus Eva Marie. It was kind of a strange segment because I assume it was from what Carmella said after that it wasn't a genuine injury and that Eva Marie was faking it, and maybe this isn't some sort of storyline of Eva Marie trying to get out of matches anyway in any which way she can. A bit odd. Yeah, don't really know what to expect from that. Yeah, just strange development. Where this will, I think this is something that maybe in 2 weeks' time or in a month's time we'll look back on this and say, oh, that did make sense. But at the moment, not making too many senses. We came out of that segment with more questions than we did answers, which sometimes is okay, sometimes is not okay. As I say, as of yet, not going to make my decision or my conclusion of whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. We then saw American Alpha versus the Vaudevillains. Match went longer, so it wasn't a complete squash for the Vaudevillains, which is good because it's a small tag team division and squashing people is just not going to work. Some would say maybe American Alpha could have come out against and squashed some people, but that seems like Raw's taken up that mantle. And not that SmackDown don't want to do that, but they want to be completely different. I didn't mind American Alpha facing the Vaudevillains. It seemed as if the crowd were a little bit quiet for the American Alpha, quieter than I expected them to be, which shocked me a little bit. But maybe that's just because maybe not as many people know about the American Alpha as perhaps we all thought they would. So maybe a few video packages on SmackDown before they come out, etc. over the next few weeks will be fine. But I'm not particularly worried about that because, I mean, you only have to see him in a few matches and you will get pumped for him. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll look back and say it doesn't really matter that the reaction wasn't all that great. But they did get the win, showing their I don't know what the word is. I think JBL said it at some point in the match. They've got this infectious energy that they make it seep into you, and you just want to jump up. You feel a part of the action. They make you feel like a wrestling fan again. It goes back to the thing of us hardcore wrestling fans. Maybe we look at it from a critical eye too much, and sometimes we never become a fan. And there are some superstars who make me a fan. Owens, American Alpha, they make me a fan. But Seth Rollins. And at the moment, I feel like both brands, I'm watching it, and I'm not watching it perhaps as critically. It's not until I'm looking after, and I'm coming to do this review, when I'm looking at it critically, because I'm reviewing the show, so that's what I've got to do. But while I'm watching it, there's certainly, since the brand split, and I'm still sceptical, I'm still not saying it's going to work 100%, but I'm very, very confident now. There is a little bit of skepticism, but I'm more confident than I am skeptical, which wasn't the case after the brand split, after the Tuesday Live SmackDown, when I looked at the rosters, that it was going to work out. But I'm watching the shows. We've had the first SmackDown, I suppose this is technically the third SmackDown Live, but I class it the second SmackDown Live because the first one was a draft split. So we've had 2 Raws and 2 SmackDowns, and I've watched both shows. Maybe not Raw yesterday, but that was because I was a bit distracted. I was doing other things, and I was just a bit distracted for Raw yesterday. And it wasn't a great show. But I've definitely watched them as fans. And I've been sitting back and I've been jumping up and I've been going, I'm being that fan that I know is in me. I don't know whether that makes sense to you guys, but I do feel like, sometimes before I was looking at it too critically and the way it was being booked, and I was sitting back and I could quite easily watch a Raw without reacting. Now I can't watch a Raw or a SmackDown without reacting. I'm up, I'm jumping up, I'm believing what Dolph Ziggler says. I'm not thinking, oh, is this interesting character development? I'm thinking, I believe what you say, Dolph. I want to see you go into that match against Bray. I want to see you beat Bray Wyatt. And then I'm looking at Dean Ambrose and I'm thinking, Ambrose, why are you saying... I'm not thinking, oh my God, he's turning heel. I'm thinking in my brain, Ambrose, you're being a jerk. That's what I'm thinking. I'm being that fan. And I know it sounds stupid, but it's genuinely a refreshing feeling. And congratulations to WWE for doing that. The triple threat match when Apollo Crews winning. I'm happy. I'm thinking, Christ, this he's winning matches. He's on a wave of momentum, as I said. Maybe he's going to dethrone Miz, and I'm buying into it, and I'm looking at Baron Corbin, and when he hit Miz, and I'm thinking, damn, that guy you don't want to mess with, when before I'd be thinking, he looks strong. It's very subtle difference, the way I'm looking at it, while I'm watching the show, but it's making the show better. And the difference is as I just said there, when Baron Corbin hit the Miz, before the brand split, I'd be thinking, ooh, they're trying to make him look strong. Now I'm thinking, Baron Corbin's a threat. And I know it doesn't sound that much difference, but there is. Before I was thinking about management and what they're doing. And from the booking standpoint, now I'm thinking, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the ring with Baron Corbin. You see what I mean? And that is refreshing. That is a refreshing change. But anyway, let's move on. American Alpha there. And then we saw another great segment. AJ Styles' message to Cena, as they called it, or the C Nation. A bit like what we saw with Ziggler, but just more passionate. I mean, I don't know how you can hate John Cena. I can understand you don't want him to win all the time. That's fair enough. But you can't hate this guy. This guy loves the business. And again, I was sitting there as a fan, and I thought, Cena, you know what a great guy. And AJ Styles was believable and great on the mic. AJ Styles fantastic on the mic. I said it the other week. How he's improved on the mic has just been incredible. And that's the thing with being in the ring with Cena. He just improves you in every way. I can't wait for this rubber match at SummerSlam. It's going to be awesome. At one point I was thinking, oh my god, is AJ Styles going to force John Cena to put his career on the line or something? But no, Cena, just a great segment. I won't talk too much about what happened, because if you haven't seen it, go see it, because it's well worth it. Up there with Heyman and Lesnar. And, you know, the Ziggler Ambrose bit, I love that as well. So we'll have to wait and see for the Battle of the Brands, who wins the moment or the segment of the week. So yeah, that will be interesting to see. But a great segment. Cannot wait for AJ Styles versus John Cena. And SmackDown just feeling great. I love the fact Styles is on SmackDown, Cena's on SmackDown. Great choices. And yeah, another great segment from SmackDown here. I keep stuttering, I do apologise. Randy Orton versus Fandango, obviously at not TLC, Jesus Christ, what the fuck am I talking about? At, what was the last Battleground, Jesus, how can I forget? We saw Orton, and by the way, just before we get into that, the first ever SmackDown pay-per-view is Backlash. So happy that's being brought back. And it's going to be the first ever Backlash that I've really watched live, because I didn't watch Backlash live in 2009. I mean, I've seen it now, but I didn't watch it at the time, if you see what I'm saying. But I believe there is where we will see the crowning of SmackDown's tag champions, SmackDown's women's champions. That's why I think they'll bring them titles back. I do feel like that's what they've got to do. Because I don't want this cross-brand thing. I want Raw to be Raw, SmackDown to be SmackDown. Yes, the Divas division, the women's division, in SmackDown's not that strong. Yes, the tag team division is not that strong, but it can be. I mean, they can develop stuff, and it is going to be okay. You see how... And the thing is, I look at NXT, and I see how they do it with the NXT women's division. It's usually got 6 or 7, but they still make it compelling. It's harder, but so long as you have got compelling superstars, we've got Becky Lynch, you know, Eva Marie, she gets a reaction. You hate her, and that's a good thing, I think. I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, I would be pumped. I'm trying to think what that match was. I think it was Bayley, Eva Marie. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was on NXT, where everyone was like, oh my god, Eva Marie's going to win the title. And every pinfall you bought into is such a rowdy match. The crowd were going mad. You were like, Jesus, don't give the title to Eva Marie. And it was so entertaining to watch. Bayley won in the end, but every pinfall, you were on the edge of the seat. Every time Bayley was on that mat and Eva Marie was laying her down and the ref got to that 2 count, you had a heart attack. Then Bayley kicked out and you went mad. Eva Marie is a useful thing. She might not be great, but I don't think she's as bad as what she was. She's going to be an important asset. Natalya, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, who we haven't really seen yet. Mark my words, you haven't seen her. She's top quality. She's up there with Becky Lynch. She's a very good women's wrestler. I think there's enough there. And I think with in a few months' time, 3-4 months' time, just as you probably think to yourself, oh my god, we need another challenger, that's when we'll see Bayley and Asuka come up. One will go to each, and then we'll have another fresh thing. And, you know, that's what will happen. So I think it will work out fine. The tag team division, the Revival, got to be close. They've got to be close to coming up. So, again, 3, 4, 5 months of the current tag team division on SmackDown. And, you know, say American Alpha win the titles, and they've defended against these, and they've defended against these. And now you think to yourself, oh, we're running out of people. Bang. Here comes the Revival, or here comes somebody... And there you go. So I think it's going to work. I think it will work out fine. And yeah, that's personally why I think they'll be crowned. I don't think it'll be SummerSlam. I think it will be a Backlash, personally. But yeah, back to the Randy Orton Fandango segment. On the highlight reel at Battleground, Orton made a kind of joke about Jericho and Fandango's match at WrestleMania, or the fact that Jericho lost. against Fandango and where Fandango was now. Fandango, rightfully so, pissed off by the comments and wanted a match. Fandango didn't get buried at all here. Yes, Randy Orton would have won if Lesnar wouldn't have come out, but he didn't get buried at all. And that I liked. It wasn't like a squash match. It wasn't like a 1 minute match. And I think WWE are doing what they need to do. I mean, Breeze Dangle, they're a top team. I would be so down. And don't forget the Usos. They're in the tag team division as well. I'd be so down for American Alpha versus Breeze Dango for the tag championship match. I expect it probably to be like some fatal four-way thing. But anyway, I'm going off topic again. But yeah, they've got to make sure that they're careful with how they book people. They can't really squash anybody because, I mean, if Fandango loses in 2 minutes here, I know, again, I'm looking at a critical eye, but I'm only doing that because of I'm reviewing it. At the time, I was like, oh, I hope Randy Orton doesn't beat him, too quick. I was kind of rooting for Fandango, not to cause an upset, but just to stand his own, to stand on his own 2 feet and to prove that, you know what, that fluke, yes, he's fell down the pecking order since WrestleMania when he beat Chris Jericho on his debut ages ago, but Fandango's still not a bad wrestler, Johnny Curtis. Anyway, so yeah, I was happy. Orton obviously won by disqualification in the end, but Fandango didn't look stupid and didn't come out of it looking too stupid at all. And if Fandango and Tyler Breeze split up, Tyler Breeze and Fandango could be, I mean, I don't like Fandango's gimmick, but they're decent wrestlers and they could be decent mid-carders on the thing if they were to split up. I don't want them to split up because I like them as a tag team at the moment. But yeah, then Lesnar came out, all the security guards there. I mean, I was thinking to myself, what a troll this would be if Lesnar didn't actually turn up. But he did. He jumped the security guards, got in the ring, and hit Randy Orton with a stiff-looking F5 and then left the building. Yeah, didn't mind this. SmackDown, he says it here. I mean, I'm only scrolling down so I can change page, but it says on thingy that it was, well, it says, I'm trying to read, it makes SmackDown feel credible, and I have to agree. SmackDown feels instantly credible by having Brock Lesnar on that show, and yeah, great segment all around. I suppose the match was okay, showcased Randy Orton's skill, didn't make Fandango look too stupid at all. Fandango got in a few bits of offense, Lesnar jumped the fin, hit him with an F5. And, yeah, returned the favour, and it's now 1-1 going into Monday Night Raw. Will we see Randy Orton again on Monday Night Raw? I don't know whether Lesnar will be on Raw next week. Probably not. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We then saw Carmella versus Natalya. Well, we didn't see Carmella versus Natalya. I was kind of looking forward to this match because I thought, this could be decent. Natalya blindsided Carmella, came from behind, attacked her from behind, much like she was doing in the Becky Lynch feud. And it looks like we're going to get we'll probably get this match next week on SmackDown. Expect then Natalya to win somehow. That she'll probably cheat. Then we'll get a rematch, which Carmella will win. And then we'll get a rubber match. That's probably how this feud will go. And yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't mind it, but I was kind of annoyed. If we'd have seen Becky Lynch versus Eva Marie, and then we'd have seen this, I'd have been fine with it. Because we didn't really get to see a women's match. Sorry if I keep calling it divas. It will take some time before I actually eventually call them women again. But yeah, I didn't mind it. Issue Natalya as a threat to the Divas division. She wants to be on top of that Divas division, and anybody that thinks she isn't on top, she's not going to be happy with them. I don't understand that. It really does piss me off in wrestling, and everyone does it. Why do people tap out when it's not a match, or it's outside the ring and they're being attacked? Why would you tap out? It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to make any difference, you fucking morons. But anyway, that's just completely beside the point. But yeah, not too bad at all. Again, it wasn't a match. It was a segment. Didn't mind it, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And this is the main event: Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt. Cracking match. Maybe technically not, a cracking match, but because we had the Dolph Ziggler segment at the start, the possibility of Dolph Ziggler losing his #1 contendership match because they played on that throughout the whole show, and how he was was he self-destructing type thing. Ambrose said it a couple of times in commentary. There was a story there, made it entertaining. Bray Wyatt looking good, and just I'm interested to see how Bray Wyatt's going to be on SmackDown. He's going to be a force on SmackDown. He really, really is. I'm gutted though. Changing subject again completely. I'm like that. Del Rio is probably going to leave SmackDown. And probably going to leave WWE. It really is annoying because I love Del Rio and I think he could be a massively important. He could really be used effectively on SmackDown, but obviously things haven't worked out. But more on that if Del Rio is eventually released. But back to the match, great match, really really good match. I loved the whole thing of what I don't know whether Wyatt was legitimately injured at the start. I think he might have done that. that did worry me a little bit. But he seemed okay. So hopefully he's okay. And hopefully they rest Wyatt. So they take him off house shows for the next couple of weeks and just have him do what he's doing on SmackDown. They exposed the turnbuckle, and then you felt like Ziggler was gonna put Wyatt into it. You felt like that's where it was going, and it did. And Ziggler got the win. And Bray Wyatt, though, still looking like a threat. And that's the thing that I came out of it. I was like, oh, Ziggler's lucky there. Again, that's the difference. I didn't come out of it looking like Bray Wyatt is still looking strong out of this match. He might have lost, but he's looking strong. Great way of booking it. I came out thinking Ziggler's got lucky. They're just subtle differences, but it's making such a difference to me personally from me watching the show, making me feel like that fan again. And I keep emphasising that point, but I don't know whether you guys are feeling the same. Leave down in the comments below. But yeah, a couple of very, very good spots in this match. Couple of near falls that were very close. We had the zigzag. We had the I want to call it the rock bottom. I don't know what Wyatt calls it, but there I thought, oh shit, he's gonna win. We had a couple of roll-ups as well. But yeah, very, very good match. A great way to end the show. And just so you think it's all over, Wyatt, bit like the Baron Corbin bit earlier, out comes Eric Rowan. So it looks like the Wyatt family. Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt certainly going to stay together. And attacked Ziggler. Then Ambrose come in to make the save, bit like what Apollo Crews did. And out came Wyatt and he laid him out, and the Wyatt family standing tall. Does this mean that they're going to somehow get themselves involved in the match at SummerSlam? I don't think so. Again, I think there's more to show. Bray Wyatt is a threat, and Bray Wyatt is going to take control of SmackDown. Great, great show from SmackDown there. Loved it. Now let's do then the Mr. WWE... I said that like Michael Cole, and it really pissed me off when I do that. The Mr. WWE Cam Battle of the Brands. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do Mr. FIFA Cam's Battle of the Brands. I'm going to type it into Twitter so I can find out how it's all going. I need to shorten the hashtag. As I said, the hashtag will be on the screen. I'm in a Battle of the Brands. It's Cams, isn't it? There we go. So we've seen it there. Okie dokie. So we will have a better hashtag. But anyway, let's have a look then. As I say, I changed the thingy. So SmackDown took an early lead after the draft. I thought they had a better draft. And that's kind of now looking like maybe I made the right decision. Last week, Raw basically took a clean sweep. Match of the week, moment of the week, better show, and the rating, it got better as well. Like the official rating, the show ratings that I gave, personal ratings, it got better as well. And also it got the better Divas proportion of last week. So, I mean, in fact, what did it get? So, yeah, it got the extra 5 points for having... I'm going to lift... I'm not going to lift the better women's bit yet from a 5, just from a 5-pointer, just because at the end of the day, at the moment, the women's division on either show hasn't really got into gear yet, so it's probably not worth 10 points quite yet. And yeah, the rating's still worth 10 points. So again, I think Raw will probably win that. But let's get into it then. So, Raw is currently on 53 points. Plus the 6.5 from yesterday. And you're putting them on 59.5 points. SmackDown, 32. What am I going to give their show rating? I love this show. I like this show as much as Raw last week. No joke. It's going to get an 8. So it's going to put it up to 40. So it's up to 40. It then gets the better show. The better 10 points for the show. Because obviously there's that. And obviously if they're the same, we still have to pick a winner. You can't split the points. So that's a better show. So it's now up to 50. It's only 9 points away from SmackDown. The best match of the week, that goes to SmackDown. It's very, very close between Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt versus Dolph Ziggler. Just because there was that story element, and maybe technically Zayn and Thingy was better, but there was that story element, I'm giving it to SmackDown. SmackDown now, 0.5 of a point up with the better match, the better moment of the week. Raw's going to get the 10 points. It's very close between AJ Styles and Cena's confrontation, Ziggler's bit, but I have to say that RKO out of nowhere and Heyman's speech, it has to go to Monday Night Raw. They get a plus 10 then for the better segment. There we go. So the better moment, as I'm calling it. So what else is there? So we've done that. We've done the better show. Obviously, the ratings will be confirmed when they come out, basically. Divas proportion of the show. This one's a difficult one. They kind of developed 2 storylines on SmackDown. But then again, the women came out of and opened the show on Raw. I think we're going to have to call that a draw. I can't split it. There were negatives and positives for both. So we won't give out a points for that. We'll just say nothing, null and void. So that means Raw, their lead, ladies and gentlemen, has been cut very, very short. Yes, obviously pending the ratings, which is a big 10 points, which I expect Raw to get. So expect them to probably be leading by 20 points. But it is Raw 69.5 points. And SmackDown, after a very, very strong show, 60 points. SmackDown Live versus Raw, the Battle of the Brands, which is going to... I'll show the hashtag. MWCBOTB. I'll put it in the thing, so it'll be at the top of the screen of everything that I do on this channel. So it's hashtag MWCBOTB if you want to see the point system and the thread on Twitter. So yeah, that is it for this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, please leave a like for this review. Sorry, great SmackDown show. So much better than Raw. Week 3. Who's going to win? SmackDown you have to say they won the week. Raw won the first week. SmackDown won the second week. Who's going to win the third week? I'll see you for that next week. SummerSlam fast approaching. Explosive week in WWE. Lots more to come. You have to say, SmackDown, they're looking good now. And they've got the Shelton Benjamin card to play. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Oh, and by the way, next week on SmackDown, Heath Slater versus Rhino. That gore was fucking immense. Next week, if Heath Slater wins, not going to happen. He will get a SmackDown slot. Nice to see that they're developing that story. Not too bad at all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.